Stem cells, the medical league's greatest breakthrough. When they first arrived on the scene, they opened up the doors for limitless opportunities. Growing organs, perfecting the human race. All these ideas may seem like they're straight from a sci-fi movie, but they just might happen thanks to these new cells. If doctors can unlock the secrets behind the medical field's greatest blessing, the world will never be the same. But there is a cost. The stem cells that doctors look for come from a place of controversy and heated emotion, and no progress can be made until this conflict is resolved. Our team of top reporters is on the case, and we have asked some of the league's top doctors for help along the way. Is stem cell research the holy grail that it seems to promise? Why is it such a divisive controversy? And will Ms. Brown give us 100 on this project? Find out all the answers right now on 30 for 30. Stem cells made their first appearance in the medical field relatively recently. But that does not mean that their history is limited. Many great doctors and researchers have spent their whole lives studying this growing phenomenon. But when exactly did they get their start, and why have these cells spread so quickly?
Embryonic stem cells have been around for millions of years in animals and kind of even in the plant league. But no one took them seriously. They were never headliners or record breakers. Just a small town club trying to do what they do best. Which wasn't very good at all, let me tell you. I mean, sure, a few doctors were messing around with them every now and then, picking them from the bone marrow in the 60s, but that was it. Most of us thought their careers were finished. We were so shocked when they proved us so wrong. Coaches and doctors Martin Evans and Gail Martin managed to draft a few of these new embryonic stem cells from a mouse embryo, and these cells changed the game. It was the most incredible cell achievement of its time. Suddenly, papers want to know about this ragtag team. This one joke is now an overnight sensation.
I remember reading the papers with my jaw. Well, it just dropped straight down. Suddenly, the teams matching up against the best, the teratoma cells, the bone marrow cells, all of the pluripotent all-stars. Most people you ask will even say they were better. The pluripotents weren't going down without a fight, of course. You gotta hand it to some of the other coaches who really upped their game.
Andrew Lassar and Harold Weintraub completely overhauled their team, even turning their star fibroblasts into myoblasts. This was just unheard of. One thing leads to another, and before you know it, in 2009, the teams have moved up to the big leagues, treating humans. I still don't know how Martin and Gail first did it. They created a revolution, a new era of stem cell research.
But what exactly are stem cells, and what do they do? What makes them have such unique capabilities?
One of those things that news anchors are talking about these days are stem cells. All my colleagues, including me, are super split on the issue. We don't know what to do with them.
One of the most highly debated topics in modern medicine is the stem cells. But regardless of the debate, no doubt the possibilities with these rookies are endless. The stem cells coaches want are found in embryos and fuse certain parts of post-embryonic organisms. There are two very cool things about these cells. They can divide quickly and forever, so they're just unlimited talent basically, and it makes them invaluable in tissue repair. But what has scientists extremely excited is that when they divide, they can become either another stem cell or any other kind of stem cell in the body, like muscle, blood, liver, bone, rubber ducts. This enables them to recreate and repair any type of the body from scratch. Square one. Can you imagine a player who's excellent no matter what position he's playing?
However, obtaining these amazing cells can be very difficult and is very controversial. But what is so amazing about these cells? And is there a difference between the different kinds of stem cells? Well, the answer varies depending on the kind of cell that is being researched.
Certain types of cells, depending on where they're located in the body. In addition, these cells are very difficult to culture. As their reproduction slows down tremendously in culture, they die very easily. However, there is another type, called embryonic stem cells, that are much more convenient. They are found in an animal's embryo, and are not extremely difficult to extract, can even divide into an unlimited array of cells. These are the cells that can be anything the doctor wants.
Unlike somatic stem cells, embryonic stem cells are easy to culture as they have that ability to divide quickly forever. Oh yeah, and they're also quite resilient. Because they've got so much more increased abilities, embryonic stem cells can be used for a much wider variety of research that can't be done with somatic stem cells, such as studying human development and how to turn normal cells into specialized cells.
But obtaining
When
these
coaches want to
cells
draft stem
is,
cells from
well,
bone marrow, the
not
patient is
as
given either a
pleasant.
spinal or general anesthetic. The doctor will basically impale the patient. They'll cause several punctures in the skin on the pelvic bone. Let me just say, as a doc and patient in this field, I know that hurts. I mean, hurts.
Once they stab you, different needles attached to the syringe and is inserted through the punctures. The doctor then draws the cells and blood straight out from the bone. The cells then have to go through a filter to remove bone fragments and such, the usual.
It's a little different when doctors need peripheral blood stem cells. They gotta give the patient something called a colony-stimulating factor to cause the bone marrow to make more stem cells and release them into the blood. Then they stick this giant catheter into the patient's arm to catch all the blood. The blood travels from the catheter into a blood machine where the stem cells are removed and the blood is returned to the patient's body.
Until now, we have only discussed how stem cells in post-embryonic organisms have been extracted. The doctors have mentioned that it can be painful and is not a very pleasant process, but the practice of extracting cells from developed organisms is still, at the least, acceptable. When doctors need to obtain embryonic stem cells, the versatile kind, the situation quickly becomes a heated debate. But it is not a debate between coaches, teams, doctors, or any of the league for that matter. It's a debate between whole ideologies and political parties.
Sometimes the coaches recruit young. Sometimes they need to get cells from a baby. Where stem cells are collected from the umbilical cord, the cells are taken from the umbilical cord blood and then frozen out later. When they're needed again, the cells are thawed from their little blood popsicle. The number of cells required just all depends on the transplant center collecting the cells and how much the doctor wants, but typically it is around 1 to 5 million cells.
They are playing in the big leagues, even treating cancers and such. Doctors even tried to remove cancerous organs and replace them with new ones that they grew in a lab, all thanks to Martin and Gale. But now here's the deal. Embryonic stem cells have been the subject of years of controversy. In many ways, it's a lot like the deflate triads in Deflatey Brady, because some people think that embryos and fetuses are actually human, and killing them is murder. But the way I look at it is that embryos aren't alive. They're just bunches of tissues, like a used bag of Kleenexes, if you know what I mean. What stem cells have done for us is absurdly incredible. For example, these cells can be used to regenerate worn-out tissues, and not the Kleenex kind. If patients have heart disease, stem cells can be used to fix blood vessels, for example. Stem cells can fulfill the growing need of organ transplant, and the immune system won't react because it is from their own DNA and their own cells. It's the perfect solution to organ failure, and it's crazy that people are against it because they say that it is killing lives.
Hashtag Peter's lives don't matter.
But there's a whole other side to the story, and to talk about it, we have brought in Dr. Sir Lord Kaushal Ben Carson Jr. III Sr.
Although stem cell research has led to so many benefits, there are also so many worse atrocities that come with it. First, to get stem cells, the embryo may have to be killed. I mean, that's a mini human we're talking about. Some of my fellow coaches and doctors believe that stem cells could be used for reproductive cloning, which I think is just horrible. Perfecting the human race and producing babies is absolutely horrendous. If us doctors do that, we're playing the role of God. That's just unacceptable to me. People talk about abortion and all that, and why stem cells are so bad, but there's one other super important negative aspect in this area of the medical field. Stem cells have got some nasty side effects when put into people, if not done correctly. It can even cause tumors to rapidly grow if they exist in adults. The huge number of cell divisions could cause some bad faults and errors that could eventually accumulate, and they could mess someone up pretty badly. That's why I proposed a 10% flat tax.
The killing point for me is not the abortion, not the side effects, none of that. What bothers me about stem cell research is that it's so mysterious. When you think about it, it's brand new. We know nothing. I mean, the whole field may become irrelevant in a few years. Stem cells may not be what they promised 50 years back. The field may not even become successful. Who knows? The whole stem cell research explosion bonanza might just go down the drain. Only time can tell, I guess.
If you ask me, all these great benefits and false promises don't justify the actions it took to get them. They had to kill to get these results, for goodness sake. It's wrong to sacrifice embryos just so a doctor might make a small advancement in his research and help his team or whatever. I can't stand it. Embryos are human, so their rights should also be considered. Planned Parenthood is me.
So, should stem cell research continue as it is, or is it a lost cause with no long-term benefits? Do fetus lives matter or not? Is Dr. Sir Lord Kaushal Ben Carson Jr. III Sr. even a real doctor? Are the pluripotents of the future of the medical league, and how will they fare in this next season? And finally, will Miss Brown give us 100 on this beautiful masterpiece? The world may never know, but until next time, this has been 30 for 30.